It's a festive time in a fairy little island as we gear up to celebrate the 57th anniversary of Jamaica's independence. Jamaica gained independence from the British on August 6, 1962, which meant the British no longer had control over the affairs of the country. Today we stand tall as a country with the black, green and gold colors of our flag flying high. We are indeed proud Jamaicans. Welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. We have an interesting show lined up just for you, so stay tuned. Jamaicans love to shop, especially during the holiday seasons or even back to school. Before it was usually in-store shopping only, but with advancements in technology, online shopping is now a big deal. This week on Get the Facts, we have all the details from the Consumer Affairs Commission on how you can stay safe in the retail space.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Ruth Campbell. Making a purchase can be a wonderful experience, but if you're not careful, it can also be very disappointing. To help caution our activities is the Consumer Affairs Commission, and the agency's communication specialist, Dorothy Campbell, will take us through that process. Ms. Campbell, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So good to have you.
Happy to be here.
Let's start by you telling us about your function, your role and function of the Consumer Affairs Commission.
Well, the Consumer Affairs Commission is the agency under the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries that is mandated to protect the consumers. And how we do that is through education, through market surveillance, and through redress of consumer complaints. These are the three main platforms under which we function.
Right. How do you go about educating the public?
Well, first off, we try to use our legislation, the Consumer Protection Act, to educate consumers about their rights and responsibilities as provided in the Act. This is one of the avenues we use as a media, such as programs such as these. We also do outreach in tertiary and high schools as well as primary schools. We go to social clubs when we're invited, and we also invite ourselves to organization meetings and so on in order to sensitize persons about their rights and responsibilities.
Right. So the visits to schools and colleges, I'm thinking, that is really active.
It's very active. The outreach, the director of research, as the director of field operations, is responsible for outreach activities. And while we're constrained by finances as well as the kind of human resources, we do a fairly good job of going out to high schools, even technical training schools such as HART. We're ever present. And we do go to devotions, training institutions, and so on to ensure that it's a generational kind of education. So younger consumers are aware of their rights and responsibilities.
Right. And you also conduct market researches, right?
That's the core of who we are, is the market research, because our market surveillance ensures that there's a stabilization within the marketplace. And how we do that is that we ensure that the information that we collect on the market is distributed widely among the consumers. For instance, our petrol survey, we go across the entire island to monitor prices at the petrol at the pump. We do that for groceries as well, for some critical items selected by...
How often?
We do that once per month. We try to publish at least the majority or some parts of the information. We no longer publish all. It's very expensive, but we have found other platforms to share the information. So while we may publish in print some of that information, we use social media, our website, the digital media, and we're currently working on an app to help consumers to access the information.
So the information you published in print, that is every month.
That's monthly.
And all the newspapers?
Both newspapers.
Both newspapers,
right.
Yes.
Dailies, both the dailies.
And that's at the end of the month? What part of the month?
Well, that schedule sometimes varies because of not only the availability of the data, but sometimes the verification of the data takes a little while. We do this digitally, so it's uploaded immediately to our database when the survey officers go out. However, we do not publish until every single piece of that data is verified. So sometimes there's a glitch, and sometimes the verification process takes longer. So our schedule may be off a week or two, but we try our best to ensure that following the data collection, verification, we publish at least a couple weeks after that.
So what can we find in that publication? What is in it? How much bread is selling for here? How much is selling? What do you put it? How can we benefit as consumers?
Well, my CEO, Mrs. Dulcie Allen, would get me if I didn't give credit where credit is due. The Honorable Carl Samuda, in another jurisdiction when he was our portfolio minister, the brainchild of the consumer alert in that stoplight production, red for highest prices and green for the lower prices, that's his brainchild. And what we did, it was during the period of high prices, and what we did was to establish a kind of countdown. So across the parishes, we select the major shopping points for consumers, and we select those items from the critical basket that the Planning Institute of Jamaica selects as the items critical to Jamaicans. And we monitor those prices. So each supermarket or wholesale, it is identified, the prices, where you get the highest, where you get the lowest. And it was a critical tool in stabilizing prices, because no outlet wanted to have a red mark in their box. So it was really functional, and it still is.
Yes. So are people using it really?
People,
do you know?
People are using the price inquiry tool, which is another area on our website where you can go, select the parish, select the item, check the price and do a comparison to the month before or the year before. A lot of students, tertiary students who are doing economics and other areas of study, they also use the data to do comparisons.
Okay.
So the consumers themselves, they also, especially for our annual textbook survey, which is also published under that consumer alert tool, they also use the information for monitoring prices of textbooks.
Right. Textbooks, yes, we'll come to that. Talk to us about your complaint resolution services.
Well, the complaints resolution services is something that we constantly try to encourage consumers to utilize. We have this attitude in Jamaica, we can't bother, and we let it slide. However, we try to encourage consumers to complain more often. Than the last quarter. We had 121 complaints. We want more. What happens is, when there is a kind of anomaly, or if you feel somehow that you've been wronged in the marketplace, you go back to the provider of service, the vendor. You state exactly what the breach is or what you think you've been wronged. You then seek some kind of compensation, redress, or refund. If that doesn't work, then you come to us at the Consumer Affairs Commission. But we always encourage consumers to seek first a kind of relationship with the vendor. Find out, to let them know what went wrong, try to resolve it. If not, then you come to us to file a complaint, and we do the investigations.
We'll talk about filing a complaint in our next segment. We're talking consumer protection with communication specialist at the Consumer Affairs Commission, Dorothy Campbell. We'll be right back.
we share a lot of sensitive information and data. And once criminals get access to this information, indeed, people are at risk based on the sensitivity of the information that they share.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. We continue our discussion with communication specialist at the Consumer Affairs Commission, Dorothy Campbell. Ms. Campbell, what are some of the more frequent complaints that you get from consumers?
Well, the Consumer Affairs Commission has registered ever since we have been keeping records of complaints that the highest amount of complaints we receive are on about appliances and electrical equipment. It has always been that. And secondly, on motor vehicles.
On motor vehicles.
And then there are other categories that fall below
Right.
that, like furniture and etc.
Okay.
But it has always been electrical equipment, electrical appliances, and equipment.
Yes. So how do you deal with complaints? And what's the process of getting, you started talking to us about that in the earlier segment.
Right. Well, what we do is that we encourage consumers to complain wherever they are. So if you're in the store and you are having a problem, or you're at the mechanic or wherever you are, you contact the Consumer Affairs Commission for anything unresolved. You may contact us by phone, you may email us, you may even send us a WhatsApp if you choose. Or you may walk into our offices in Kingston, Montego, or Montego Bay, and you sit down with a complaint officer who are, I must say, have been trained in dispute resolution strategies.
Okay.
Right. So they're equipped to deal with the aggressive sometimes.
Dispute though?
Because sometimes the confrontational way in which these cases evolve, you have to have the skill to get them to calm down in order to get some progress with the towards resolution.
So we can complain from our phone by sending you a text message, an email, or
go to our website,
yes.
Because our website does afford a complaints form. You can submit that. The complaint officer will then use that to contact the consumer. Yes. However, we must say you must always give us a contact number that is workable, working, and that we can use, because the first step is to speak with the complainant and then with the vendor, so that we can put the information together to determine whether or not.
So I filed my complaint. How long is this going to take?
Well, it depends. Some cases take 24 hours, some take 24 minutes, because very often a complaint comes to us because of the unwillingness of compromise between both the vendor and the consumer. And a simple intervention by the CAC would resolve that issue. However, it may also take 24 days if it's a case where, for instance, we need a third-party expert to either run some tests and give us an independent report, or if we need the Bureau of Standards of Jamaica to test an item. So it depends on what the nature of the complaint is about.
So you have a set time within which you start the process.
Right.
And that would be...
A consumer can expect a call back if they submit a complaint within a day or two. Most consumers will receive a call within a day or two. Yes. But we do have a standard within the office that the process would go within 9 days. However, if the vendor is not responding to our queries or our demands, depending on the level, then it will extend the period of investigation.
So we're in back to school shopping period, you know. Everybody's out now shopping, busy. What are some of the advice? What advice will you give people who are shopping now for school books, for shoes, for all the things you need for your children?
Well, the first thing that the Consumer Affairs Commission advises parents to do is to shop at home first. So you do your research at home, because going out to shop means that you would have done your comparative shopping. You've already located the best prices, where you're going to buy what, because the one-stop shop sounds convenient, but it's not always the best way to go about it. So what we try to do is we offer the annual textbook survey, which is the database comes from the Ministry of Education. It gives us all the approved texts. We then verify those texts in terms of publication, edition, etc. And then we go, we have our field officers, our survey officers go to the bookstores to verify availability and price. Once we have done that, we then determine the publication and we do our analysis. The research department, they're working very hard right now to go through the data to ensure that the books that they have are the books that have been approved, and even the approved list are the matches back to the list that the schools
so edition 15, you have to buy that because edition 14 would be different.
Exactly.
Yes. Let's move now to buying shoes. When we're buying shoes for the children, we should not go. There are some tips not to go in the evening or what else?
Yes, we normally ask consumers to be wise about shoe shopping because what happens is that the body functions in a weird kind of way, especially in the summer. And the kids, they're playing their football, they're doing everything, the feet are swollen.
Right.
So they fit differently in the evening than in the morning.
And always take the child with you.
And
it's
always take the child with you because they do their growth spurts in the summer.
Yes.
So you might think you have a size 6 when you go, it's a size 7. So
to prevent having to return an item. And I talk about, is there a returns policy?
There's not a general return
policy. Because you know what, I went to buy something last week, and the person in the store told me, I cannot return it. I said, what if I take this and it doesn't work? Can I take it back? She frankly said, she just said no.
Well,
what?
There's no general return policy that we can impose on a vendor. However, if you have bought an item and that item does not function in the manner in which it was, then the CAC will step in and say to that vendor, the consumer has a right.
Yes. Not if you don't like it, if you don't like it again.
No, we don't arbitrarily defend the consumer on just a trivial thing as I don't like the color or I changed my mind or no.
But if it doesn't function.
But if it doesn't function or it's a substandard good, or for instance, you buy a wedding dress and it doesn't fit properly for your wedding, a reasonable vendor will understand that there must be an exchange at this point because of the critical purpose of the item.
Yes.
So it takes a matter of reasonableness between the vendor and the consumer. And very often, that's how we get to intervene.
Yes.
And we resolve issues based on just reasoning with the vendor to say, you need your customers.
So
yes.
So as we wrap, just remind us what to do if we need to get to the Consumer Affairs Commission.
Well, you can do the traditional snail mail, but you may email us. You may call us at 876-906-5425. You may hit us up on Facebook and send us a message, or you may go to our website and send us, go on our complaints resolutions form, or you may send us an email at info@cac.gov.jm. And if it's a complaint, if it's advice, if it's tips for back to school, whatever the reason, consumer alert publication, we're saying hit us up on any of those. And we're going to now put a plug in because we are now about to launch our free app. So we're asking persons to go to the Google Play Store, download the CAC app, and you will get your consumer alerts, you will get your news about any food safety issue, etc.
Okay, one last thing. Where can persons access the textbook survey?
Well, that has not yet been published, but it will be published partially on our website at www.cac.gov.jm, and we are hoping to partner with some publications to ensure that consumers are able to get that. But we say to parents, they can call us, and we can access whatever parish, location, bookstore for the prices on their behalf.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you for having me.
This has been Get the Facts, and our guest was Dorothy Campbell, Communication Specialist at the Consumer Affairs Commission. To watch this program again, log on to our social media handle, YouTube/WatchJIS, and stay connected via our website at jis.gov.jm. Until next time, I'm Enthros Campbell. Take good care.
Coffee was introduced to Jamaica in 1728. Creighton Estate was established around 1765, and the Blue Mountain Range and the central region of Jamaica, which is the Grand Ridge of Jamaica, were the major coffee producing regions. Currently, we are fully certified under the Rainforest Alliance, and we are the very first entity in the Caribbean region to attain that certification. Now, the Blue Mountain Range of Jamaica is a microclimate of the island and has provided the perfect conditions for growing the Arabica coffee. A typical day in the Blue Mountain, the most sunlight is in the mornings from about 11:32 to 4 p.m. You know, this is the weather that we experience. This is a norm in the Blue Mountain. It's nothing unusual, you know, for the range to be covered with mist. And after sunset, the temperature basically goes below 20 degrees Celsius. So those are the perfect ingredients to develop high quality coffee. You know, the culture here is rich. We're an extremely creative, you know, set of people. In Jamaica, there's everything. If you're a nature lover, we have it. If you like the wetlands, we have it. You know, great coffee, you know, great food. You know, God has been good to us. You know, the God has been good to us. The universe has been good to us, you know, as a country. You know, and, this rock, I love it, man. I love it.
The Denby Agricultural Show is a 3-day event which started today. Every year it's filled with lots of exciting displays and agricultural produce. So take some time over the next 2 days to check out the booths, sample new manufactured goods, and just enjoy yourself. In the meantime, let's take a look back at one of the displays at last year's Youth in Agriculture Village, the hydraulic slotted pig pen.
We normally clean this system on a daily basis by using a shovel to gather the feces across the slots. Some of the feces normally falls into the slot, and the rest that doesn't fall in, we have a 2-inch hole at the end of the slotted area where we push all of the feces into it. The pit system for the slotted system is normally built with a degree of slope. That is sloped to a vent area where it is released into the biodigester.
What if I told you there's an easier way to do this? Students from the Ebony Park Arts Academy in Maypen, Clarendon have designed a unique way, modern if I may say, of effectively cleaning your pig pen. A design which they had on display at the recently held Denby Agricultural Show. Take a look.
This is a pig pen, but not just any pig pen. This is a hydraulic slotted pig pen. Normally, pig pens aren't made to just move up and down. They don't have any up and down movements. So with this pen now, we make it that it can use the hydraulic system and let it go up for better sanitization of the pen itself. So this pen is connected to a biodigester. This biodigester is a system where the waste/the effluent from this pig pen can be converted to a gas called methane, which can be used like a fuel in the home, or it can be used to help with the maintenance of this because it can use to power this system itself.
As said before, this is a hydraulic slotted pig pen, therefore after a while there will be a buildup of feces and excessive bacteria beneath the pen. Therefore the hydraulic system would come in place because this would allow us to clean beneath the pen effectively. Before we clean beneath the pen, we place a fiberglass beneath the pen to prevent the excessive feces and waste material from passing through because we don't want it to touch you while we are beneath the pen cleaning. So this is when the pen goes up, and it will allow you to clean beneath the pen effectively to reduce the amount of bacteria, and have a safe and disease-free pen. Afterwards, after you have done cleaning, you place the pen back into its designated area and remove the fiberglass and sanitize it. And that's the pen.
Our course is general agriculture. In general agriculture, we do with the husbandry practice and the cleaning of pens and sanitation and so forth. But we have slatted pen down there. And we have noticed that, you know what, with the slatted pen now, after a period of time, you may have a accumulation of bacteria because of small pieces of feces here and there. And remember, the swine/the pig are some animals which they easily catch disease and are easily infected. So that is why and how we come up with this invention. We don't have lots of difficulty because our senior instructor, Sir Calvin Wiz, has supplied us with most of the resources needed. But the challenge that we face was mainly making this component, making the up and down movement without the use of electricity. So we had to think about it thoroughly. We just buck up on some syringes. So what we did was, we noticed that when you connect two syringes with a tube, when you push one down, the other one will go up. So we think about it and say, mainly we can use this as the hydraulic component of it using water. Like a liquid, you can use any liquid, not a too thick liquid, a liquid which can flow freely and make the movement. So we have the tendency to connect the syringe to each corner, to 4 corners, and to these syringes we connect them on the framing. So when we have the tendency to push down the syringe, the pen will go up, and when we push up the syringe, the pen will go down. So that is our hydraulic component of the system.
Youth involvement in agriculture is top priority for the government. And with a system like this one, designed to integrate modern technology and agriculture, what more could you possibly ask for?
So many wish they could visit our shores. We live where they vacation. Brand Jamaica beckons all from the 4 corners of the earth.
Well, as a Jamaican, I have great pride in selling it. You know, your pride that you sell Jamaica with is something that it rolls off. Jamaica has so much to offer, and every time I have the privilege of bringing an executive down to Jamaica, an executive from an airline or a tour operator or a travel agency, and you take them across the country, you know, the pride that they said, wow, I can't imagine, especially when it's their first time. Wow, I love this.
Build it. Cherish it. Our wealth is Brand Jamaica.
It's the holiday weekend, lots of parties or celebrations which may include excess drinking. If it is that you're going out and you know you will be drinking, may I beg you, make somebody else drive. Having a designated driver will easily save your life and the lives of others. No bother speed. Trust me, it won't make you early if you're already late. Drive for yourself and others, not only this holiday period, but every day you go out on the road, as we aim to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Thanks for watching another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Do join us again tomorrow and we'll do this all over again. Send your feedback on today's show to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Also, follow us on all our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, there's Twitter. Download our app on your Apple and Android devices, and you can also visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.